Something. Ellen has a big heart, isn't she something? She's tremendous. I share your passion about the children, what goes on. As you know, I was a volunteer in New York City for runaways and pushouts. And what she says that happens in the poor areas in inner cities and in other countries is so true. We'd have young women at our shelter who were kicked out by their mom because the boyfriend started to find the daughter attractive. And so the mom kicks her out. I mean, it doesn't make sense. None of it does. And you're helping them to get back. In New York, there were young women forced into drugs and then prostitution. We were getting them off the streets and back home. Young men, getting them away from gangs. So that experience, when I was on the House floor, if somebody wanted to put a tag that a Republican didn't understand it, I went to them personally. We had a long talk. And pretty soon, nobody made that claim again. So I thank you, Ellen, for so much that you've done over the years, for showing us and opening everyone's eyes, because there was tremendous apathy in Maryland, but you believed, and you made believers out of all of us. And thank you for all you've done. Thank you. Folks, 2017 is almost over. And in every previous year during the Miller-Bush reign of power, we are left with a sour stomach at the many bad bills that are passed by the legislature. And there sure were a lot of them this year also. 2018 is coming, and we in Maryland, as Ellen said, have the chance to give a great governor veto-proof authority over bad bills and a chance to have fair redistricting. And that's why they're going to try to stop us in this race. Maryland has never been this close to a return to common sense and good government. Never. Do not let people forget when we get in this in 2018 that Bush and Miller are out of touch and have consolidated power upon themselves. The fact is, the main job of the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate is to make sure that decorum is present in everything they do, that everyone's given respect, and that the process itself is respected. Instead, Bush and Miller choose themselves which bills are heard and passed. Two people out of 47 senators and 141 delegates, these two people are making all the decisions. According to our state constitution, the governor of Maryland is to set the budget. It's the only governor of that in the whole country. They'll say that makes him the most powerful governor of the state. No, because Miller and Bush have mandated 72% of how that budget is spent. Thus, they control, not the governor, 72% of the budget. They've also inserted mandated increases in their pet projects. They gave themselves the power to draw district lines and to do so in ways to consolidate their power. You know that they've done this. I was drawn out of the district, District 30, in 2014 or 2013 when they redid the drawing, because I had beat the Speaker of the House by nearly 1,700 votes in his own district. So he drew me out. And they laugh about it, they talk about it, they're blatant about it. The public trust for them to be the guardians of our system, that trust is broken. Their lust and love for power and having buildings and sports complexes named after them reminds one of a banana republic or of the many nations that claim to have democracy, but it is the same people ruling it for decades. And with Miller and Bush, I mean decades. Yet when the 2018 election year begins, the dominant party will present itself in whatever way it takes to mask their abuse of the democratic system. And so, unfortunately, many people will forget how and why Miller-Bush are obstructionist and abuses of power. But I am confident, and let me hear it, that the people in this room are determined not to let people forget. Am I right? Then you tell me and let me hear it. Do you want to return to the O'Malley-Bush-Miller years? No. Do you want to return to another 40-plus tax increase, enormous fee increases? Over the 8 years, there were 80 tax and fee increases combined. Do you want to return to that? No. Do you want to return to a total budget increase of 50% over 8 years? No. Do you want a government, or do you want a return to a government that increased their own personal discretionary income during the long recession, but they did so by cutting your income, your discretionary income. Do you want to return to that?
No.
Larry Hogan's holding them accountable, folks. Do you want a government that chases businesses and jobs out of the state?
No.
Do you want to continue to have government officials like Miller Bush choosing districts, congressional and state ones, thus picking their voters rather than the voters picking their government?
No.
Do you want to return to the aggressive union choking of charter schools, homeschooling, and choking of their being elected school boards? Do you want that back?
No.
Most people don't want these things. We can't let them forget. But let me ask you this also. What an idea this would be. Do you want a public school system that continues to ignore the teaching of civics, memorization, math that is not dumbed down, principles of economics, indeed, to teach the founding principles of our nation? Do you want a school system that continues to ignore those things?
No.
Okay. Do you want to continue to have the dismantling of the rule of law, specifically what they're attacking is First Amendment, Second Amendment, and 10th Amendment? It's free speech, right to bear arms, and sovereign states.
No.
Did you hear Ellen Sauerbrey just now?
Yes.
Wasn't she great?
Yep.
Do you want the continuation of the dismantling of the family and to have it be substituted by the nanny state?
No.
One quote sticks out in my mind about the nanny state. Remember when Hillary Clinton put it so honestly and so well? She said, and I quote word for word, "We must stop thinking of the individual and start thinking about what is best for society." If that didn't send chills up your spine. Folks, I believe in the individual and each individual's right to govern themselves. I believe in a local locus of control so we can each have a voice. I am looking to be your senator, to listen to you and to represent you. I am going to also assist Governor Larry Hogan in his quest to allow the private sector to once again be job creators, to give and help assistance where needed in the poor, forgotten rural areas, in the inner cities where socialism has not worked, folks. The Great Society experiment has not worked and will never work. And I plan to help the government cut excessive taxes and fees that have forced people to leave or consider leaving our state. For us in District 30, this election in 2018 must be a statement. It must be a statement that we want common sense, fiscal conservatism, and less government, safer streets and safer areas for our children to play, real answers for the poor through job creation. As your senator in District 30, I will protect and help our local small businesses here. Our farmers, we have many farmers in South County, horse breeders, our maritime industry, as well as our tech industry. I, together with a wonderful gentleman named Dr. Mark Plaster, who is going to run for delegate in this district, we will work together to protect and assist this Annapolis area. And we welcome someone to join that other delegate seat. And I, together with our superb South County delegate, Seth Howard, who had planned to be here, but he's in the governor's seat watching the Oriole game. I will work with Seth Howard, he's tremendous, to address the state's ignoring of the needs of South County, and I will work hard to protect their way of life. Let's take our love of the beautiful, historic, and picturesque city of Annapolis that we all know and love, and the quiet uniqueness of South County. Let's take that to the State House, and together, let's change Maryland for the better. We will not let them forget why we, the people, elected Larry Hogan. I thank you all for coming, and thank you for your kindness, for your sharing, for everything that you do. We're going to get this done. Amen? Now, one thing, and we'll keep it short, because you'll have a chance to talk to Ellen and to Dee Hodges, who's been tremendous in the legislature in her testimonies. I was on Ways and Means and had to fight all those tax increases. Dee Hodges was always there from Maryland Taxpayer Association. The two of them and myself will do a little Q&A with you. But first, I have something I want to say, something else I need to do. And she'll probably be upset at me for doing this. But my heart and my deep love is solidly held in the hands of a remarkable woman I've been married to for 36 years. And Becky, if you could just stand for just a moment. This is my wife, Becky. Our love for our state and what we feel needs to be done and for stepping up is because of this woman and her example of self-giving. She's wonderful. There's two other people. Katie, Catherine Rose is my daughter. She's a senior in high school. And then there's a young gentleman I'm also very proud of. Tommy, stand up. And then I'm still able to introduce to you a person who's had the biggest effect on my whole life. Like Ellen, she has a very big heart. She puts everything into everything she does. And anybody who ever meets her, she makes you feel like you're the most important person in the world when you're standing in front of her. She cares about everyone, and everyone loves her. Mom, my mom is here, Sylvia James George. I love you, Mom. I love you, Becky. So, Ellen and Dee, why don't you come on up? And I don't want to get the microphone too close to this. We have to be careful because it'll make a noise. So,